As we get back to Salem, Channel's removing her help wanted sign, much to Paulina's delight, until Channel tells her she hired somebody against Mama's wishes. Paulina lights into her daughter about throwing money around. They're being watched by the courts. Belle's trying, but it takes time. But Channel needs help now, and she needs Talia. They're in a war, Paulina says, and they need to think strategically. Just then, Belle calls with good news. The case was thrown out. They celebrate, and Paulina gleefully wonders how that witch is taking it. Channel gets to work right away, but Talia shows up just as she mentions how nice it is to be able to pay her new employee. They chat, and Paulina and Channel learn that Talia is Jada's sister. Rafe, meanwhile, shows up at the Dimera mansion with documents for Stefan to drop the charges against Brady and Eric. Rafe thinks it's a mistake, but Stefan's happy with how it ended up. But why is the commissioner there in person? Rafe came to talk about Gabby. They both hate her living with Lai, and despite Rafe's disdain for Stefan, he's the preferable choice. Rafe warns him to be careful. Lee's dangerous. But Stefan has got this. Upstairs, Nicole and EJ wake up together with a kiss. He slept amazingly, and Nicole thinks a big part of that is hashing things out with Stefan. Except EJ tells her he's still committed to taking his brother down. And EJ is sure Stefan feels the same. No matter what he said, EJ's going to stop Stefan and Gabby from teaming up against him. So he tells Nicole about Lai. EJ's using Lai and playing his cards close to his chest, but he thinks the distraction Lee's cooked up for Gabby might work. The new fashion line might just win her over to Lai, but Nicole's doubtful she'd abandon Stefan. Fine, but EJ fills her in on Lai and Gabby's fidelity clause, which gets them both hot and heavy. In their apartment, Gabby walks out to find Lai in a towel talking to someone on the phone about Gabby, feeding them praises about her to make her fashion line happy. Gabby balks when he gets off the phone, and Lee apologizes if he's too pushy, but she says to keep the meeting he scheduled for her. Might as well try it. He walks off to get ready, casually removing his towel as he does, much to her exasperation. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" He reminds her that the living room is her bedroom, so she goes to get ready and gives him her breakfast order. Gabby's phone rings and Lay answers, saying hi to Stefan and gloating about Gabby's mysterious meeting. They exchange quips, and Lay reminds him about how she has to stay faithful. Stefan throws his phone in disgust as EJ and Nicole walk in. He's upset enough he gripes about the situation with them, and Nicole mentions word on the street. Is Gabby starting a new fashion line? No, she would have told him, Stefan says. EJ needles him a bit and points out the fidelity clause in Lee and Gabby's marriage. How do you know about that? At the Brady pub, Jada and Talia are eating muffins as Talia thinks up baking tips for the food. Jada tells her sis that she's going to have to find her own place eventually, so they don't have to share a bed forever. Why not? It's not like you're sharing it with anyone else. Talia teases her a bit, then they toast to being single, until she asks about Jada's last boyfriend. Jada insists she's doing just fine as Rafe walks in. He asks what they were talking about, feeling it was appropriate to butt in on a private conversation because it seemed kind of intense. Talia says she has to go and mentions working at Sweet Bits, and Jada's horrified. She's a doctor. She got a medical degree from Stanford. So what's she doing at a bakery? Jada thought it was her dream to follow in her dad's footsteps. Nope. It was Daddy's dream, not mine, and she leaves. Rafe and Jada talk about her path, but Jada knows better than to try to push her too hard. Rafe mentions Dario and Gabby, and the two bond over being the oldest sibling. Eric and Sloan are going at it in her bed when he gets a job alert on his phone. As much as he likes rolling around with her, he needs a job. Sloan tells him to stop. He's too talented to find just any job. He should open his own gallery. She went through his portfolio last night and insists his work is amazing. He's got a full library of photos he can put to use. He says he needs a job. No, what you need is to take charge of your career. Finding a gallery is a huge undertaking, but Sloan has the perfect place. Sweet Bits. Eric doesn't feel great about Sloan taking everything away from Paulina and Channel. She reassures him that he's not doing anything, that's all on her. He's just making it work for himself. Sloan, though, gets an upsetting call about losing her case and starts throwing things around the apartment. Eric tries comforting her as she breaks down. They're murderers and they've won again. It was never about the money, she tells him. They tore her family apart because they're cute and cuddly and fun, and everyone loves them. She's lost so much and everyone just thinks she deserves it. That was her last shot at justice for her mom. In the show's last few minutes, Jada and Rafe prepare to head to work, and he tries finding out what she and Talia were talking about again. The look on your face is why I came up. She gets a call from Sean and Bolts. Over at Sloan's, Eric is going through his photos when he finds one of Nicole and pauses. Paulina is a bit taken aback that Talia never went to culinary school. The channel's new employee assures them that baking is just something she knows. Do you also know that you're talking to a couple of criminals? Sloan asks as she walks up. She's not giving up for making them pay. Paulina puts herself between Sloan and Channel and tells her she will never win, and the two of them have done nothing wrong. Sloan muses that she doesn't need court for revenge, then walks off. Gabby comes out ready and tells Lai he's not coming, then notices Stefan called. She's ticked that he didn't tell her about Stefan, and he shouldn't have answered his phone without her permission. He apologizes and tells her she can call Stefan back, but it might make them late to the meeting. He then says they're expecting both of them, and he doesn't want to do anything that might spoil her pitch. You're driving. She hands him the keys. EJ stammers something about Wendy mentioning the marriage clause. Stefan's suspicious and EJ apologizes for speaking out of turn. Stefan's too upset to question it further, and Nicole casually suggests she can help arrange a private meeting since he and EJ made peace. Stefan seems dubious, but thanks her and walks off, leaving Nicole and EJ to plot.